Okay, question. So, how do we actually keep our eye on the prize? Back in a minute. Sorry about that technical delay. Hi, this is Jan from New York City. My channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. How do you stay focused? How do you keep your eye on the prize? What prize am I talking about? I'm talking about hitting our savings goals. I'm talking about getting the job done and not even necessarily only savings goals. There are other goals in life as well. Let's talk about it for a second. I feel that some of the habits, our daily habits that we do, we don't even realize we're doing it. It's just like part of our daily thing. We just like get up, we're half asleep, sit down, our coffee, we have like one eye open, flip on the remote, and on goes the negative information, otherwise known as the news, for a couple of hours, not a couple of minutes. Some of us keep it on for half hour or an hour and beyond, which is not good. All that negative information, and especially starting the day. I am a firm believer of yes, get your vital information, especially if you're a commuter. You need to know if the buses and subways are running. That's important information. Weather, you need to know the right weather gear to have. You're sending your kids off to school, the right way to dress for yourself, dress for your children, etc., etc., and the list goes on. Those are the local news, weather, and daily essential news. That I could understand, but I can't understand listening to like the other negative information for a prolonged period of time. What does that have to do with keeping your eye on the prize? I say a lot because I believe that if we, first of all, we're distracted. Being distracted takes away important time. Those 2 hours sitting around listening to the negative information over and over again, like you're memorizing it, takes away your time from figuring out money making or money keeping ways. Does that make sense to you? I'm sure it does. So I found out, not found out, I listed a couple of things that I believe will help us keep our eye on the prize. Okay, the first one, like I mentioned, instead of watching the negative news for 2 hours a day, why not decide to take a walk? Instead of the 2 hours sitting around staring at that news, maybe you could consider taking a local walk. Doesn't have to be far. Could be around your block, walk around your block. Or if you don't like going out at that hour, which is understandable, some people don't like to do that for many reasons, then you may want to exercise at home. You don't need equipment. Just switch that negative news off. Sometimes you'll find yoga things on TV or right here. Definitely right here on this platform, you could find meditation. You could take a half hour for praying, whatever it is that you want to do. That is anything but watching the news. Maybe make a healthy protein breakfast. A lot of people skip breakfast, and I don't believe that that's a healthy thing to do. It's good to keep your blood sugar levels stable all the time as much as possible so you can think better and perform better and do your tasks much, much better. So, another thing, limit your time. Limit your time on your phone or social media that may distract you. Again, distraction is never a good thing. I'm not saying don't take a 5 minute vacation. Let's say you're working hard all morning and you take a 5 minute mental break, totally good. In fact, totally necessary. Get up, stretch, make a fun phone call, take a total break from whatever working you're doing. If you're doing like very intensive work, that's very important. But when you find that the time that you're spending on that social media platform is way more than your time of focusing on your business project, or you're sitting down figuring out ways that you can keep more money in your pocket, this requires concentration. This requires focus. This requires effort. Remember, the goal here is to keep our eye on the prize. Being distracted for prolonged periods of time is not helpful in that area. Next, graciously decline invitations that are of no value to you, are of no interest to you, and are not necessary to you. I'm not saying avoid the necessary things. Necessary things got to do. There are things just got to do, whether you like it or not. Liking it is a different issue in another video. There are a lot of things we don't like to do, but we need to do. But for everything else that's an option, think carefully. Are you accepting an invitation just to not upset the apple cart? And how many times have you done that? Are you accepting invitations that are going to break the bank and take away from your savings goals, or in fact, may put you in credit card debt because you're trying to save face and look like, a big shot at the restaurant paying for everybody's dinner, for example? This is not good. Really and truly, you need to set aside a way or figure out a way and have it ready in your head. At this moment in time, I have to graciously decline your invitation. Perhaps we'll get together again in the future. Now, let's say a person wants to meet you in a way that's going to cost money. You really want to see the person, but you really just can't afford at that moment the money. Who's to stop you from inviting that person to your home for something that I think, like our parents used to always do, probably looking back? Certainly, I would imagine your parents did it back in the day, had people over for a cup of coffee and some donuts. A simple gathering, like in the afternoon for an hour or two, a little simple gathering like that does not break the bank. You still remain social. You get to see people in person, which is a very nice thing to do. All these things, believe it or not, all of these activities in their own unique way can help you remain focused on your savings goal. Every time you're tempted to just go along with the program because you're afraid of offending someone, say, I love you, but right now, time is time. I had to recently turn down someone. I'm not going to lie. I did it graciously. And because that person was my friend, true story, because that person was my friend, and I knew that that person was my friend and still is my friend, will always be my friend, understood when I had to graciously decline an invitation to something that some people consider a very, very important thing to do. But the reality is that that thing is a very optional thing to do. And I examine my situation, and I'm not going to go for multiple hundreds of dollars just to be polite. And as it turned out, all those other people that were supposed to be at that thing didn't even show up. So thankfully, my friend, who was, will always be a gracious friend, she totally understood, and it worked out. I much rather have done what I did do. With those multiple hundreds that I saved, I decided to buy me a new chair that'll be coming in a few weeks. But thanks to certain shipping delays, it's on back order. But that's another show. So you see, I make choices. I keep my eye on the prize. For me, it was more important to save those multiple hundreds for that chair instead of just kerplunking it on a 2 to 3 hour occasion. That's the way I think. How do you think? Do you keep your eye on the prize? How do you stay focused to not spend more than you really should? How do you keep living within your means? There you go. In the meantime, this has been Jan from New York City. I'm going to close out the show, and I really do hope that you do everything you can to keep your eye on the prize and stay focused. Hang on. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care. Bye-bye.